game day, game day. How long have we been waiting to say that? Anyway, guys, it's 49ers versus Cowboys, week 1, preseason. Some interesting things going on tonight. We'll talk about that. I got my guy Tony here. But before we get into all that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button right there if it's your first time here joining us on YouTube. Make sure you give us a follow on Twitter and Snapchat at NothingBut9ERS. At NothingBut9ERS. That's Twitter and Snapchat. You can give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook at NothingBut9ers, all spelled out. Make sure you check out www.nothingbut9ers.com for all other avenues, social media on there, our YouTube pages on there, as well as a bunch of great writers that put out a ton of content over there. So make sure you guys go and check that out as well. I got my guy Tony here. What's going on, Tony?
What's up? Game day, like you said. Just got the NFL Network on right now, and they're showing players on the field warming up. Really exciting. I can't wait till 9 o'clock. No offense. And watch this game. See the young guys we got. Obviously, we're going to be missing some people in this game, but we'll get into that in a little while.
Yeah, so, excuse me. You've seen a lot of people putting out top 5 things to watch out for, top 5 things to look for, things like that. Let's do a quick synopsis of 5 players that we're excited to see tonight. So you'll give one, I'll give one, and we'll go back and forth. And then we'll talk a little bit about what to expect from all these people. But before we get into that, there's 28 guys not playing tonight. We've talked about those. And I'll just run down the list real quick. Most of them are expected, and some of those are not expected. So, obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jerick McKinnon, Jeff Wilson, Garrett Selleck, Weston Richburg, Joshua Garnett, Nick Bosa, Dee Ford, Eric Armstead, Ronald Blair, Quan Alexander, Jason Verrett, Jimmy Ward, Kwan Williams, Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, Kyle Juszczyk, Marquise Goodwin, George Kittle, Joe Staley, DeForest Buckner, Malcolm Smith, Richard Sherman, Mike McGlinchey, Laken Tomlinson, Mike Person, Ben Garland, Fred Warner, Trent Taylor, and Jaquiski Tartt. Those are your 28 players that are not playing tonight out of the 90. So without any of those names, obviously being somebody who you are excited to see, give me one person you're excited to watch tonight and why.
My first guy is going to be Dre Greenlaw on the defensive side of the ball, the linebacker. You've been hearing nothing but positive in camp. I understand it's not full go, it's dud, whatever you want to say, but he's been making plays. He's been good in coverage. He has an interception or two, a couple stops behind the line of scrimmage, even though it's not full tackle to the ground. But I'm really excited to see Dre Greenlaw tonight. Really am.
All right, Dre Greenlaw is a good one. I was going to say Dre Greenlaw as well tonight. But, man, I think the most thing I'm excited about tonight, it's really hard. But I'm really interested to see this backup quarterback battle between Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard. And to say – I told you only give one, so I'm not trying to give 2 there. But I'm really excited to see what Nick Mullins comes out and does this preseason. So, and I'm also kind of interested to see what C.J. Beathard does. Has his game stepped up? Has he – become something that we're not accustomed to seeing? So that would be my guy. Probably my number one guy would be how Jimmy Mullins. Nick Mullins will be doing tonight to replace Jimmy Garoppolo starting. And who starts out of those two? Who comes out first? So that is one of those guys that I'm interested in seeing. So, all right, give me another guy for you.
My second guy, free safety, Travarius Moore, was in the secondary last year. He was a cornerback under Jeff Hafley, who pushed for that. Now, new coach Joe Woods comes in and moves him to free safety, his natural position. The reason why we drafted him in, I believe, the 3rd round. We drafted him because of his production as a free safety. Now we're letting him play. I'm really excited to see him. Again, made plays in practice, interception or 2, broke up a couple passes. That's my second guy I'm really excited to see.
All right, that's another good guy. Another good guy that you've been hearing things about. Robert Saleh went earlier or 2 weeks ago, I guess, said he's far from an NFL safety. But he's been stepping up his game. You hear these other players talk about him. You hear the coaches have changed their whole thing on it as well. And so I'm excited to see him as well. Another guy I'm excited to see tonight is our 4th-round draft pick, Mitch Wishnowsky. I want to see this guy punt on live television in a live NFL game because we haven't really seen many videos of him punting. You've heard people talk about it that have been at camp. You've heard the media, the media coverage of it, of the Niners, whether it be Matt Mayoko, Chris Biederman, Rob Lauder, whoever it is. You've heard them all talk about Mitch Wishnowsky. I want to see these different types of punts that he's going to work on, how his punting is going to be at Levi Stadium, and just overall how we're going to utilize him. I don't want to be punting a whole bunch, but I want to see that when we do punt, how he's pinning these guys back. So I'm kind of interested to watch him. I know it's not very exciting to watch a punter, and it's not good news to be watching a punter, but he's one of the guys that I'm definitely excited to watch tonight.
It's not only his punting, it's very important in exchange for the field goal. He's now the new holder in place of Pinion, who went to Tampa Bay. So I'm really interested to see, hopefully he score a touchdown early, see Gold come out and kick the extra point. I'm really interested to see that exchange. It's very, very, very important.
Yeah, definitely.
So
just like Tony said, holding, he got in, Robbie Gold came in a camp late. So, probably he didn't come into camp late, but he wasn't there for OTAs. He wasn't there for a rookie mini camp or OTAs. So that'll be something interesting to watch as well. See how that chemistry is there as well as the long snapper, because it's Colin Holba right now instead of Kyle Nelson, because Kyle Nelson's on a suspension list. So interesting, very interesting. So all right, so give me a third guy.
This one's tough because being that all our top 4 pass rushers are out. Armstead, who's going to play probably base end, DeFord, Bosa, and Blair. So now this gives an opportunity for someone like Demontre Moore to step up and give a strong performance and make a push for this 53. Demontre Moore is very talented. He was with the Giants. He's with Dallas. A friend of a friend knows him personally. Got into some stuff, poor decisions, nothing illegal, nothing like bad or like jail thing. Just made stupid decisions with the Giants. Went to Dallas, played well. Went to the AAF, produced well. 8 games, 8.5 sacks or 8 sacks. That's a sack a game. That's very good. I understand the competition is low, but he showed that he had the ability to get to the quarterback. He looked in phenomenal shape. He signed with us. We released him, but there was a reason why we released him. Nothing bad, and then he brought him back. So I'm really looking forward to him to make the best out of this opportunity. I think he's talented, and I think he has a legit shot with the injuries now to make a strong run. Not a lock to make the roster, but to make a strong push to make the 53 as a rotational play.
Yeah, you're making me feel like I got Mike on the show right now, because Mike is a big Demontre Moore guy too. He's been, shouting out his name since the first time that we signed him, and then he left and then he came back, and Mike is still on that Demontre Moore trip, which is fine. I want to see what we got from him as well. The other thing I want to see is obviously I just want to see red zone efficiency, and I know this isn't a specific player, but I'm going to give you a specific player to attach to that. And I'm going to be watching, obviously, Deebo Samuel. And that's somebody that I'm really excited to see how he's utilized, where he lines up, how does he line up, how's his separation, because we've had Croc on the show, and he says his separation doesn't look good, but he still gets the ball somehow or another. So I'm kind of interested to see how Deebo goes. He's our 36th overall pick, round 2. You haven't heard much of him in camp. You've heard some good things. You've heard some bad things. So I'm kind of interested to see where that goes and where that leads to and how he plays tonight in his first NFL game.
That's a good one. Overall, I agree with you, Deebo Samuel, but overall, the whole wide receiver group, just as well as the whole defensive line group. I mean, I could sit here and throw names, Katavius Street, Julian Taylor. All these guys are going to get an opportunity with the 28 guys that are out. I understand 28 guys aren't all, important like defensive line people or wide receiver people. But shit, I mean, like you said, Tart was out. Let's go to this guy. Next man up, Marcel Harris. I want to see what he gets in this opportunity. Hopefully he starts and it's not Exum. I really want to see what Marcel Harris could do as going up against a semi-one team from Dallas. So I like Marcel Harris. Overall, I just want to see everybody, man. I just dying to see this team play. And most important, no damn injuries. Let's get in, do what we got to do, get our reps, perform. Hopefully the first group goes down the field, and let's just stay healthy. That's all I ask for.
Yeah, I mean, you give your receiver group as like your number 4 overall, which I'm really interested in seeing now. I see Niner by Nature drop $5. He says, look out for Richie James too. He's in a serious battle. Niner by Nature, I appreciate the donation, the $5 donation. And also, talking about Richie James has been a name that we've been hearing a lot about in camp. So I'm kind of interested to see how that battle ends up too, because believe it or not, he's probably one of the bubble guys. I'm also excited to see Jordan Matthews. I mean, just in general, this whole wide receiving group, seeing how they mold, how they mend, who comes down with those contested catches and things like that. And speaking of somebody with hands, is the next battle that I'm really interested in seeing, and that's between Caden Smith, Levine Tololo, to see who gets that second, and Ross Dwelly, to see who comes up with that second and third spots for that tight end spot. Those three guys right there, Tololo, Caden Smith, and Ross Dwelly. Ross Dwelly's an undrafted free agent. We know who he is because he was on the team last year on the practice squad. I think he got some play in the regular season as well last year. He stepped in last year, the first game when George Kittle went down with that shoulder injury. He stepped in and played well, and he got some snaps along the season. He's gotten better at blocking. He's really, really good at catching. He's good at separation. So that's a guy that I'm interested to see how it plays out, because I think Ross Dwelly is going to be our number 2 tight end this year with Garrett Selleck being hurt up until week 6. So it'll be interesting to see those 3.
I think Garrett Selleck, unfortunately, with the injury he sustained to his back / neck, plus the concussion, I think he's going to have to make a decision about whether he wants to go forward with his career. Nothing against him. This is medical issues. But I agree with you 100%. I do think Ross Dwelly, as of now, is the second tight end off the bench. Well, it's going to be the first tight end tonight. But a guy you got to keep your eye on. They gave him a big signing bonus to come here. His name is Tyree Mayfield, the tight end from Wyoming. This is your Delaney Walker type tight end, a do-it-all, like a gadget guy. Could play fullback, could be an H-back, but he's very talented. He's made some spectacular catches in camp. That's not my next guy. I was just piggybacking off of you. My next grouping would be, because I don't know one guy, because I don't know the rotation they're going to do, but the next grouping is going to be the offensive line. Who's going to step up for the swing tackle? You got Sean Coleman, Justin School, and you might have Willie Beavers added into that rotation as well. Your interior, pretty much with Garland out, you might see what the hell was his name? Wesley Johnson as the starting center. We signed him as a free agent 1-year deal. You could see Najee Turen, a carryover from last year, an undrafted free agent. He's probably going to be starting on one of the right or left guard spots, respectively. And you might even see Beavers take the other spot. My guy, Ross Reynolds, I hope he gets a lot of reps. I'm really looking to see him on the field. And, that's pretty much it. But I want to see someone try to step up today as a backup to make a depth piece.
It's interesting. So before we go into this, the captains for tonight's game is defensive lineman Sheldon Day, running back Raheem Mostert, and quarterback Nick Mullins. They're your 3 captains for first preseason game. That was just tweeted out just so you guys know who those are. It's interesting to talk about offensive line. We know how important the center is in Kyle Shanahan's system. So that is another position guy that I'm going to be looking to see, because obviously Weston Richburg's hurt. Ben Garland's not playing. To see who takes those snaps there and how that person does is very, very crucial for that guy tonight, whether he's a center and a guard, and things like that. So, but yeah, very interesting one with offensive line. We haven't really had a full healthy offensive line the entire training camp right now because Person's been out. Joshua Garnett's been out. Obviously, he's not a starter, but he's been out. Weston Richburg's been out. Lakin Tomlinson's been playing. Haven't really heard anything about him. So it'll definitely be interesting. Once Weston Richburg comes off PUP, which they are saying looking for week 1, it'll be interesting to see how he gets back in the groove with Jimmy Garoppolo, because that center to quarterback exchange in this offense, in this scheme, is very, very important. So that'll be something that we're looking forward to as well. The other thing that I'm interested to see tonight is who are going to be the return men, whether it be punts or kickoff. I want to see who lines up there and who brings the most explosion.
I think you're going to see a bunch of people. I think they're going to rotate people in and out, each punt, each kick return. I think that's they're going to rotate these guys. They're going to see who's the hot hand, who has listen, you don't want to put a high-end guy back there. I mean, honestly, you're going to see probably Richie James up first, in my opinion, because of what he showed last year. I mean, after that, it's a crapshoot, man. It's whoever they see in practice. I mean, we don't see that. It's what they see. Just before we go forward, just to piggyback off of what you said with the linemen, now I understand why Garland is not playing, because that's all you have right now. You can't afford to lose him. So I understand what Kyle's saying, and putting 2 and 2 together with the 28 guys that you read, and plus him not wanting one preseason game, he'd rather have none. That's what's going on here, okay? I mean, I don't mean to talk about another team on a 49er chat, but the Rams did it last season. They played no starters. So this is more precautionary. The majority of these names, and they're playing it safe. I honestly think Kyle's going to use the preseason to build the back end of his roster and his practice squad to see who's putting on good film and performing versus other teams in live games rather than 60-70% in practice.
Right. We talked about the defensive line earlier, and I put a comment up here that says I don't want to Vlad pride. I guess that's what that is. I don't want to crucify the name, but if I did, my apologies. It says, I definitely want to see what Street brings to the table as well as Samuel. And, this is a guy that Contavious Street, we haven't really seen much of, you know what I mean? Because he was injured last year. We haven't really seen him. We've heard last year at the end of camp, at the end of practice, and at the end of the season started coming along. Have been hearing his name here and there for training camp this year. Him and Julian Taylor are two guys that I'm really interested to see. Is Contavious Street going to line up on the outside with a Ronald Blair down, with a Nick Bosa down, with a D Ford down? Where is he going to line up?
You could see it. You might see it tonight.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We should be able to see that tonight. So, all right, give me your fifth and final guy who you're excited about.
Let's see. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jalen Hurd. I want to see what this guy could do. Okay. You hear him getting a fight in practice. He's a scrapper. He plays to the whistle and sometimes beyond the whistle. That's part of the reason why they got into that scrap with him and Dante Johnson. I want to see what he could do. I want to, he came from a very undisciplined offensive Baylor. I mean, it's basically the run and shoot. He lined up in the slot a lot. I want to see what he could do, playing like the X, the Z, or the slot. I want to see if Kyle moves him around a little bit, giving him different looks. And I know this is supposed to be my final guy, but I'm really interested to see Solomon Thomas after that year is behind him, that horrible year that he had to endure and go through with the loss of his sister. I want to see the new and improved Solomon Thomas, the more focused Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because Solomon Thomas is a guy that we've all been down on. We all say that he's not, worthy of that number 3 overall pick. So it's right now, this is his time to shine. Like, he's going to be one of those guys that are out there getting a lot of snaps probably, and be interesting to see. So local 49ers fan says, who's starting at running back today? I have a bet.
I think it's
I have a bet with Mike that Raheem Mostert gets 12 or more carries. And Mike says Raheem Mostert won't touch the ball 12 times tonight. This was the bet. Well, 12 will be a push. So 12 over 12 is what I said. Tevin Coleman's not playing. Matt Breida is not playing. You're down to Austin Walters, Raheem Mostert, and maybe the new guy that we just signed today. Maybe, because he played in the 2016 system with Kyle in Atlanta. So maybe you see him even, but I don't even know if he's physically conditioned and things like that to be able to play tonight. So you got 2 running backs tonight. Let me ask you, do you think Raheem Mostert touches the ball at least 12 times?
I don't.
You don't? So you think Austin Walters is going to carry the load tonight?
I do. I really do. But just by showing how Kyle held all those people out, just by that statement right there, he had to address Mostert. He's probably going to play the first series, maybe the second series. And then after that, I think it's going to be – they're going to run that kid wild, Walter. And to be honest, I want to see him. I really want to see him because you've been hearing good shit about him in practice. I mean, again, we can't see it. I'm just going off of reporters.
Right, so let me ask you this. So you don't think that Mostert's position is up for grabs by anybody? I know you guys love him as a special team player, but you really don't think his position is up for grab for a guy like Austin Walters as another running back? We already have 3 running backs. So Mostert has to prove something somewhere. I don't understand why nobody thinks he's going to run the ball. It's just going to be Austin Walter. Like, I just don't understand that whole point. We've talked about this.
Well,
So,
I think it's also because of injury. I think that has a play into it. You can't just sit Mostert and then just go into the game with the rookie. I mean, he's going to get a couple carries. You might even see Mostert try to get a kick return, a kickoff return, because he's probably in the rotation too. But
he probably is.
Every down carry, I think you're going to see this kid Walter run the ball. That's just my opinion because, first of all, the offense is going to be as basic as basic. It's going to be like Jim Harbaugh type of offense. Stupid, run right, run left, pass, done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you might see a little more, but I think Kyle's going to keep it tight to the vest because he doesn't want to show anything, put anything on film, and that's it. You're going to see the basic principles of his offense.
I don't know, man. I just think you guys are putting too much value on Raheem Mostert. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's 3 other guys that are running backs on this team, and to hold him back in preseason, I have no idea where that comes from. So I'm interested to see what happens with that whole situation. And not just to prove that, not just to say, oh, he got more than 12 carries, because I want to see where he really fits in on this team. Like, that's what I need to see that from him. Yes, he ran the ball last year well and then broke his arm when whatchamacallit was down, or broke his forearm when Matt Breida went down. And he wasn't touching the field in the beginning when McKinnon was there. He you know what I mean? So I'm kind of interested to see where he falls on this 53-man roster. And you heard our special teams coach, Tim Hightower, say that Kyle looks for guys who are going to be able to do something else in the game other than we're not just keeping a guy for special teams. So that's where I think that Raheem Mostert really needs to prove that he's going to be another running back here. To me, I mean, it's to me, but I could be wrong. So it really, it's just, I'm kind of interested to see what happens tonight. Kind of interested.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I definitely want to see them come out and score. I really do, right away. If they get the ball, I want to see them down the field and score. That'd be pretty good. I'd be happy. No matter what the outcome is, I just want to see the first unit go out and score.
Yeah, so there's a question here by 661 Trapping Gang says, is Solomon Thomas playing? He is playing. We're not sure how much he's playing, but he is listed as one that's going to suit up. Cinemonkeys is in here. Cinemakiss. What's up, Cynthia? She said, Mostert ran well last year too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not taking anything away from Raheem Mostert and his ability to run the football. I think that he is a very explosive player. It's just with what we have on this roster, I need to see where he fits in. Let's see. Dre Berry, my buddy. He says him and Coleman are the only backs who have rushing touchdowns and pads during camp. Breida only has receptions for touchdown. I'm just saying. Okay. Camp, to me, training camp and preseason games are totally different. Totally different. I'm not it's it's like comparing, something else. But I don't understand that. So Callie and Jason Long says Mostert ran good against Green Bay and Oakland, which he definitely did. Graf and Kick says, is Jeff Wilson still on the team? Jeff Wilson still is on the team, but he's still injured. He's still not off the PUP list, so he's still not coming back. Let's see. Wilson is hurt. Yes, Wilson is injured. I'm going to look for any more questions here, guys, and then we'll go into a little bit. Niner by Nature says you want to see Witherspoon. Witherspoon was listed as playing, correct? Yeah, so he'll be out there. I'm interested to see who that other corner is. Because Richard Sherman's not playing, Jason Verrett's not playing. Is it going to be DJ Reed? Or is DJ Reed going to line up in the slot? Is Emmanuel Mosley going to line up in the slot and DJ Reed on the outside corner? It's going to be really interesting to see where people line up tonight and the new look. Adrian Colbert, how much play is he going to get? How's he going to look? You know what I mean? So it'll be definitely interesting tonight. So Nick Southern says, what wide receivers need to show out tonight? That's a great question.
All of them. All of them.
I totally agree. But if you had to pick one or two out of the ones that are starting, who would you say that has to put up to show that they deserve to be on this team? We know Debo's a lock. We know Debo's a lock. We know Jalen Hurd's a lock. They're not going to go anywhere. So out of the other guys, who do you think?
I'm going to say Kendrick Bourne and James. Because if Bourne doesn't put up, that means Matthews is making the roster. If James doesn't put up, that could mean Kyle's only going to carry X amount. So yeah. I think this is a legit shot for him.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go. I gotta see what Matthews has. So it's hard for me to pick between James and Bourne right now, because I think Bourne is more of a lock to make this roster than James. So I'm gonna go with Matthews and James need to put up. To me, those two are guys that are fighting for that roster spot, fighting to take somebody out. So I'm kind of interested to see what those two have to do. And I think they may need to put up. Those two are my guys that need to put up tonight. So I'm going to stay. So Dre Berry, I know Dre Berry loves Bourne. He says Bourne has had, let me find that comment again. It just disappeared. Bourne has had a way better camp than Matthews. Absolutely. He definitely has from reports. But like I said before, Dre, training camp and preseason games are totally different. If they were showing out in training camp and not making this team, then they're pretty much going to be sitting in preseason. Go ahead, Tony. I saw you had a question.
Dre, I agree with you 100%, Dre, that he did have the better camp than Matthews. But the important thing with Bourne is the mental part of the game. That's what's going to be important tonight. When Kyle calls a formation, he's got to come out and line up in the right spot. Instead of you seeing him trotting across the formation going, oh, shit, I messed up. That's the difference between Kendrick Bourne and a veteran in Matthews. So if Kendrick Bourne shows the mental, lapses are gone and he's 100% locked in and focused and knows his responsibilities and lining up in the formations, Kendrick Bourne will have the edge. But he has to show that because he did. And I know Kyle was getting frustrated as hell with him.
Yeah, and I'm not going to touch much on Kendrick Bourne. I've come off being as low as I was on him, but I want to see more from him. But to me, two receivers that need to show out is obviously Jordan Matthews and Richie James. I think those are the two that are looking, on the outside looking in right now and need to prove something. If Jordan Matthews can't do anything against twos, then I saw a comment in here that he needs to be cut from all these years playing in the system. So he really does need to show out. He definitely really does. Niner Faithful 808 says, I really want to see Colbert not get burnt. That's another big guy that we've been talking about. I want to see – it's not about getting burnt to me. I want to see how his angles are. I want to see how he's approaching the football, how he's approaching the player. So that'll be an interesting one as well. Eric Purpo says Shanahan never mentions Matthews. I don't think really anybody's even asked about Matthews, to be honest. Let's see. Kyle says Kendrick looks like a different guy already. I agree with that. He definitely says that. All right, so let's see. Tony, I said this was going to be a quick hitter. Everybody's getting ready for the game. How do you think the Niners do tonight? Overall. If you had to be a betting man.
Well, listen, I told you before I was going to bet this game tonight, but I'm glad I didn't because all 28 guys that are not playing. I understand they're only going to play like maybe a quarter or two, or a couple drives, but still, it's a tone-setting factor. And if those times when they're on the field and they score, that's points. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think they're going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be tight. Hopefully they pull out the win. But most of all, I just want to see them be productive. I want to see them move the ball. I want to see them get first downs. I want to see the defense make stops, apply pressure, get sacks. Like, I want to see this. I want to see everything start to form because all we've been talking about all damn season and off season is, yeah, we added this, we added this, we added this, we added this, we drafted this and drafted that. But guess what? I want to see it all come together now. I want to see it on the field. I understand it's not week one and you're not getting all your aces out there, but still, I want to see the ability of this team and the depth on this team. I want to see all three levels compete. And I want them, John, Kyle, Adam, to sit there, Martin Mayhew, and say, holy shit, we got a tough decision to cut down from 90 to 53. That's what I want to see. And it is going to be tough because there is talent. But like LeBron said, that's one excellent point. Our backups have starting experience, especially Nick Mullins. So we have the upper hand with that. But the question is, he's not behind his number one line. He doesn't have his number one backs behind him. And as of now, I'll give the receivers an upgrade compared to last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of all what we want to see. Everything just start come together. It's year 3 for Kyle and John. We've gone through, injury plague year. We've gone through that injury plague year. We've gone through the situations of, rebuilding the roster year 1, year 2, the injury plague year. And now, we got a couple guys that are out. And I think that a lot of it is precautionary reasons as to not playing guys as well. And a comment just popped up here, and this was my 5th and final thing that I want to see tonight. And obviously we talked about, Tony just talked about wanting to see points put on the board, whether it's touchdowns, red zone, field goals, whatever it may be. But this is the thing that I want to see the most. I want to see a freaking turnover tonight. I want to see turnovers. I want to see us attacking the football. Attack, attack, attack. Be vicious. That whole all gas, no break thing, being versatile, being physical, just being a freak of nature tonight. Like, I want to see the football come out and bounce our way. If we can start to get those things, then I'm definitely going to be excited. Definitely going to be excited. So Callie and Jason Long says Wilton Spate he's interested in seeing. That's another interesting thing. Nick Mullins is obviously the captain tonight. He's probably going to start the game. How much is Nick Mullins going to play? How much is C.J. Beathard going to play? How much is Wilton Spate going to play? And these are the things that we really need to pay attention to, because this backup quarterback position is really going to be fire. And that was my number one thing tonight to see. how it all comes out. So, Tony, you still there? All right, I guess we lost Tony. I'm not sure where he's at. But I want to see turnovers in Tampa in a few weeks. I totally agree. Eric Furpo says, I can't wait to see the D-line. KB is cool, but he's not a game changer, Jay Good says. Foster, I agree, especially Dre Greenlaw. People want to see. I want to see no injuries. That's another big one, Niner by nature. Another big one. No injuries. Please pray to the gods of the injury world in football. No injuries tonight. Let's come out healthy, have a good physical game. Turn up, yes. Some step up in the red zone, Soko says. That's my biggest thing. If you guys watched our show for the last 3 years, you know that I've been really, really big on our offensive side of the football inside the red zone. Need to see the red zone turn around. Need to see those extra points or the touchdowns other than a field goal. So early stops on special teams, agree. Is Jimmy playing? Brazo Las says Jimmy is not playing. I went over the list in the beginning of this video, guys. Make sure you go over. There's 28 players that aren't playing tonight. Our captains are Nick Mullins, Sheldon Day, and Raheem Mostert. Sheldon Day is another big name I'm interested to see. And we talked about the punter. We talked about the receivers. We talked about quarterbacks. We talked about the defensive front. We've talked about the offensive line tonight. Other than that, guys, man, we don't really have anything to talk about. We will be back tonight, though, with the very first overreaction show of 2019. Obviously, if you guys watched this before, our overreaction show is a show directly after the game. No matter how pissed off we are, we overreact to everything. Come and join us. Come in on the fun. Maybe we'll bring some fans on tonight. We'll talk about that. And then, later in the week, once we watch it again and we cool down, and then we'll talk about the real goods and the real bads and the good, bad, and ugly type of thing. Make sure you check out nothingbutniners.com, guys, because we'll start to get all those articles out again. It is football season. It is football season 100% right now. And I see I got Tony back now somewhere, I think. Nope, not yet. So, guys, it is 8:37. We have 23 minutes until 9 o'clock. Till preseason game 1, 49ers versus Cowboys at Levi Stadium. Game 1 preseason of the 2019 NFL season. Who's hyped? Hit that like button if you're hyped. Hit that like button if you're hyped that the Niners football team is back for 2019 season. I'm going to check in with Tony real quick, guys, and then that's all I have for tonight. Tony, you back yet? All right. Not sure where Tony's at. I'm going to pull him off of here, guys. So make sure if you haven't hit that likes button already or that subscribe button, make sure you do that because, man, it is football season. 2019, let's go. I'm so hyped, guys. Tony, you back now? All right. I keep losing Tony, so I don't know what's going on over there. So, all right, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you set your bell for notifications. Check us out on Twitter and Snapchat at nothingbut9ERS. That's right there at nothingbut9ERS. Check us out on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. And if this is your first time here, hit that like and subscribe button. You guys know what it is, where it be, and who it is. It's the Nothing But Niners crew. And we have nothing else to say other than go Niners. And above all else, stay faithful. We out of here. Peace.